kind of goes with next time, but we need to get some of these out of the way and done because we're running out of time. And these are the days I had marked down. This is what we're doing. So the Graphian follicle is the slide that you're going to be looking at for the ovary. Because we're trying to look at the overall ovary, but the Graphian follicle is the main thing we want to find in there. Okay, so here's the big picture of the ovary. So you have just all this massive stuff. So it really doesn't, again, doesn't look like anything else. It's all by itself. Okay, so there's three major things you're going to find in here. The primordial follicles, the Graphian follicle, and then the corpus luteum. So on the hint page for the corpus luteum, it says that you kind of look at the background of the ovary itself, and you look for something that looks kind of out of place, a little grainy. So if you see something that looks out of place, kind of grainy, that big huge thing, that big huge thing right there, almost in the middle here, that would be considered a corpus luteum here. That whole big thing. The primordial follicles, those are the ones that are going to be found on the edges of the ovary. So any of these circles that are found along the edge, like over here, there are smaller circles. Those are the primordial follicles. I'll move up one and see if I can get any photos and light and all that good stuff. So again, you can kind of see even the nuclei in these over here, right there.
What
So
are those?
primordial follicles. And again, the kind of weird thing there in the middle. You won't have it like that, because you can't even tell what in the world that is. But again, there's our primordial follicles here. Now, the Graphian follicle is going to start to develop, and we have kind of a few in here, so I'm going to get to one that actually has all the parts. So there's some of it. There's somewhat one we can come back to if I can't find a bigger one. So let me see if I can find a bigger one.
So is that big thing another one of those corpus?
Yeah, the other, the one, which one? The one that was...
Like that one right next to this column right
This
there?
one? Not yet. Not yet. That's one that maybe it just expelled its egg.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at, this little Graphian follicle here, this whole thing. So again, question would be, what's the entire rounded structure at the end of the pointer? This entire thing, if the pointer's pointing here, it's still talking about the whole thing. That's the Graphian follicle. Now the space that's in here, the space right here, is really not space. It's filled here. They kind of refer to this as some kind of milk or nourishment here. But all you have to know that that space is called the antrum. Space is the antrum. And then everything else has to do with what's around the egg. So this here in the middle, this whole thing right here is the egg, the oocyte. All of that's the oocyte. Now surrounding, immediately surrounding to the outside of that egg, that oocyte right here, is a non-cellular layer, and it's called the zona pellucida. Non-cellular layer, zona pellucida. Surrounding that is a layer of cells, and that's called the corona radiata. Corona radiata. And then what the whole oocyte, the zona, and the corona here are sitting upon. Now it looks kind of weird because it's from the top, but it's attached here with the cumulus ophorus. Cumulus ophorus. Patrick, did you turn your chest in? Yeah? Yeah. Just trying to sneak out of here. So the cumulus ophorus, cumulus usually refers to like a cloud. So think of this as the cloud that the egg sits upon. It sits there. And that's all you need. So we have the primordial follicles again on the very outside, the corpus luteum, which looks a little grainy and weird in the instant, or around where all these graphian follicles are, the entire graphian follicle, the antrum, which is the space, the oocyte itself, which is all of this in here. The layer to the outside of the oocyte is the zona pellucida, non-cellular. I'm trying to get in there, non-cellular. The other outside layer here is the corona radiata, and then it sits on the cumulus ophorus. So I'm going to get another one, I'll go up one more, but then I'm going to get another slide. These change a little bit.
Who drew it down there on the board?
I did.
Very nice. Really? I wasn't paying attention.
So again, you can kind of see that this is non-cellular. When we start talking about fertilization next week, I'm going to try to bring in a NOVA DVD and show you parts of it as we go through it, because it really does a good job at showing what's happening during the process of fertilization and cell division. And it talks about the zona, it's the zona pellucida. And that's, again, it's like the shell of the egg. It's what's going to harden, it's what has to break so that the egg can start to develop. But it encases that egg, and also provides a barrier. The sperm have to get through that in order to fertilize the egg. All right, let me get another different slide up there, because all of these again are. Okay, so on this one, the primordial follicles don't seem to be very noticeable. They should be right at the edge. I don't see very many of them. Possible. So this would not be a good slide to ask about the primordial follicles on. Because these are a little bit too developed to be that, because you can already see the oocyte in there. Now as far as, gosh, this is a pretty poor slide.
So what are they called when they look like, when they're just empty without the egg? Is it still the same thing?
It's either in the process of, it's already expelled the egg, and it's still a graphian follicle. It just doesn't have the egg in it. But you won't be asked about those. So it will have one with the egg in there. And again, the corpus luteum on this one, about the only one I can see that would even take. Do you see it over here? That one? Okay. That'd be about the only representation of the corpus luteum. But I don't even see it. I mean, that's not very good. And that one was okay. Maybe we'll look at that one. This one, the corona radiata and the cumulus ophorus look like they're merging together.
Would that mean it's like getting ready to expel, or?
Oh, that's a question. Or it hasn't broken away enough. No. Okay, so if this was the only one we had, focus on the outside. If it's around this edge, that would be the corona radiata. If it's below and toward the outer edge of the graphian follicle, then it's going to be that cumulus ophorus. The oocyte's all this, and then that other non-nuclear cellular layer is the zona plusta.